Previously on HVACR videos.
Well, today we have a service call on this restaurant, and they literally put in 3 service tickets that all 3 ACs are not working. I'm also a little intrigued what they're doing with this thermostat wire right here. They're breaking. What are they doing here? That's the high voltage. Wait. Holy majoli, guys. They are running high voltage. That's the 240 volt side of that transformer. They're running 240 through that stat wire. What the heck are these people doing here? I'm dumbfounded right now.
This video is brought to you by Sporlan. Quality, integrity, and tradition.
All right, now this is the little one that had the 5 amp fuse where it shouldn't be. I thought the fuse was blown, but it actually isn't. But I put the right fuse in there, so there's a 2 amp now. So I just got done rinsing this guy off. I actually had someone else working with me, but he had to take off. So I finished rinsing this off. This one's clean. We tightened the belts on this one. We tightened the belts on this one. I still need to check this condenser and see how dirty it is. And then this one, we know we have a bad condenser fan motor, so I brought up a condenser fan motor. I'm hoping it's right. I brought a motor and a blade. So we'll do that. This guy with a return air temp of 80 degrees. Wow. I know it's hard for you guys to see. For whatever reason on that first Prodigy board, you guys can't see anything. But, okay. 80 degree return air temp though, that's kind of high. But we'll have to see what's up with that. Yeah, so that's where we're at. We're just kind of moving along. I just got done eating lunch. So at this point, I'm gonna knock this one out because this is one of their bar ones. So I wanna get this done before they get too many people in the building. So this unit is the big middle one. This is the one that's locked up. Let's see if I can see. That's weird. But this one right here is not working. I don't know why. This one earlier, I'll have to test voltage on this one right here. But this one right here has got voltage and nothing. So condenser fan motor's not running. It spins, but you can tell the bearings are a little slow. Let me take this cover off and measure voltage on this one too. And yeah, this one has 208 too. So this one, oh yeah, okay. See, I was thinking it was messed up, but you can see how it stops. It's a bearing issue. Okay, yeah. Both of these guys are bad. I'm pretty sure I have these motors. I gotta make sure they're 3rd horsepowers. Yeah, 3rd horsepower is what it says. So I have 2 3rd horsepower motors, blades. So we'll knock these 2 out. And then when I have the cover off, we'll give it a rinse, make sure it's good. So because there's that divider, I can actually do most of this work with the unit running. That way I can still give them some cooling for the building. Because I can pull the motors out from the top. The plugs, you just pull them off. They're already isolated, right? So that's easy. So I can do this work with power on temporarily, and then it's just when it comes time to hook and power up, that's when you need to turn it off. So it is hot out here today. Good gosh. Ugh. Just putting the guards back on. I'll do all the connecting of the motors from down below. I just couldn't reach these corners of the guards and the blades, so got one motor out. Need to get this one out now. So it's time to change the capacitors, and they're labeled, but which one's which? Which motor's which? So I drew a little diagram right here, okay, with the compressors right here labeling them. But all you got to do is open up usually the installation instructions, and right back here it'll give you a diagram. If I can find it again, there it is, right there. Right there. So it tells you for the 240s, for the 210s, that's the 18 ton. For the 180s, that's the 15 ton. So it shows you where and what numbers are what. So you just gotta look and figure things out. So we've got that. Now we know we need to change capacitor 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So we just come over here and we're gonna change these 2 right here. Knock those 2 out. All right, condenser fan motors are all running. That's good. Condensers put back together. I also cleaned the condenser. It was a little dirty, not too bad. Probed up on this guy, and first stage is completely out of gas. 0 PSI. Second stage is low on charge. Come on, baby. Why isn't second stage? Oh yeah, there you go. Second stage is low on charge. And third stage is pretty decent. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put some gas in second stage because they're dying down there. We need to get it up and running. And I'm kind of dying myself up here. It's mid-afternoon, it's about 1:30 p.m. and it's hot on this roof. So what I'm probably gonna do is get second stage running, get the pressures kind of okay, and then we'll come back in the morning and do a leak search on first and second stage. So that's where we're at on this one. So I'm gonna go get some gas right now. We still gotta dive into that one too. Yeah, I'm dying up here. It's 105 right now. But this white roof, it's just reflecting off of it. It's killing me. I must have gone through at least 8 water bottles already. 2 Gatorades. Alright, put some gas in there, get that saturation temperature up on the low side. Got some 410 right here. When I hook this on, I put it on here and I keep it loose at the tank and I purge at the tank to clear all the air out of the lines. And then, so, just gonna add a little gas, get that saturation up, and we'll come back. So this guy is pretty low. When I came over here earlier, let's see if it's still doing it. Yeah, it's not doing it anymore. It was frosting up at the distribution tubes coming out of the expansion valve for the second stage. So yeah, pretty low. This unit too, it's weird. It has this weird grinding noise it's making, but I can only hear it when that door's shut. You hear it over here. But if we're looking at this guy right now, okay, second stage, we've got an improvement, right? Our saturation temperature is higher on the low side, 40 degrees, but we still have no subcooling. And we need probably close to 16 degrees subcooling on this guy. Let's see what this one's at. Oh, that's weird. This one's at 4 degrees. So we'll see. But let's just get it up. You need subcooling in general because that indicates liquid going to your expansion valve. And these expansion valves are meant to have liquid going to them. So we're gonna put a little more gas in there, get that subcooling a little bit higher, and then probably won't get it any higher than 10 degrees. And then when we do a leak search and we repair it, we'll weigh in the charge. So, all right, I'm not gonna put any more gas in there than that. I got the subcooling up to about 5 degrees, 4 degrees, somewhere in there, superheat. I don't wanna put any more in there. Second or third stage, or third compressor, 4 degrees subcooling, 10 degrees superheat. That's about it. So I'm gonna power it down, do a quick little leak search on that first stage, just have a look real quick, see if I see anything obvious, and then we're gonna let it go for now, and then we'll come back when it's not as hot and do a leak search. You know, normally I don't walk away when it's too hot, but, well, I shouldn't say normally. It's not that I don't mind working out in the heat, okay? It's that I don't wanna kill myself, all right? It's 105, I worked it much hotter, but I've also been on the roof since 7 a.m. this morning. It's now almost 2 o'clock p.m., okay? So in my experience, I feel fine, I'm doing good, but after 6 to 7 hours of being on the roof in 105 plus degrees, all of a sudden you hit a brick wall and you get sick. So I usually like to cut it short before I get sick, right? You gotta know your body, know your limits. There's no shame in saying, hey, I need to take a break. There's absolutely no shame in that. In fact, one of my employees was here with me today and he needed to take a break, and I'm 100% okay with that. I was like, dude, thank you for telling me, take a break, okay? It's all good. Go home, relax, call me tomorrow if you're feeling good. If not, take a couple days. Like, I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want them working themselves too hard. This is a job. It's not worth your life kind of a thing, okay? So this guy's looking good for circuit 3. Circuit 2, kicking butt. Let's see, just for giggles, let's go to circuit 3 and see what our supply. So we're supplying, I don't know if that's accurate. It says only 55,000 BTUs. I don't think that's accurate. Let's see what my temperature differential is. We've only, yeah, it's about a 10 degree temp split. That makes sense because we're missing the first stage compressor. So yeah, that's how it works. So the leak on the first stage is right here, right down in here, and it's where the copper goes in. It's actually cracked. So I can fix it, but it's going to be a headache. We'll have to take this metal off, cut the metal, which it's already been cut over here, fixing a leak a long time ago. So we'll have to cut it right there. And then as far as the second stage leak, which is over here, I looked and I didn't find anything. I'll go look at the evaporator again real quick, because I put quite a bit of gas in the second stage also. But this can be repaired. It's just going to be a fun one is all. All right, this one, smoke detector, clean the condenser, tighten the belt. Everything else checks out okay. This one right here, first stage, low charge, 2 bad condenser fan motors. Second stage, low charge, third stage, okay. Topped off second stage, can't find a leak on second stage, looked everywhere. First stage, major leak in condenser, can be repaired. Tighten belt on this, grease bearings, forgot to say we grease bearings on this one. Rinse the condenser on this one too. This one right here, loose belt, really dirty condenser, broken fan shrouds on the condenser. Oh yeah, and that one over there has broken fan shrouds too. This one's got something going on with the board. It may just be that the battery's going bad in the display, because every time you turn the unit off and turn it on, it says go through guided setup, like it's never been set up before. But I tried setting it up and then it does it again. It also has a pretty mean vibration. All the drain traps are jacked up. I taped them off for now temporarily. Basically they had no P-trap because it was sucking air in through there. So we need to get fan shrouds for this guy. We need to investigate the vibration on it, but I don't know, who knows. And I need to look into that circuit board, but I want to do this one today. It's working though. It's got a good TD. It's cooling the kitchen. I'm tapped out for today. Like I said, I can't spend any more time here. So we're going to wrap this up. Got to clean up my tools and get off this roof.
So if you haven't watched the first video, down in the show notes of this video and pinned in the comments is a link to the first video. Okay, the first video, the whole video was going to be way too long, so I cut it into 2 segments. So this is the second half of the first video. Now, when I'm going to this equipment, this particular customer, now I have some customers that do routine maintenance, some that don't. This is one that does not do routine maintenance with me, but they do have a filter changing company that will come out to their store so many times a year and change filters, and then sometimes, depending on the location, they'll change belts. It's just a mess. Like, I have some of the restaurants where they use the filter changing companies and they don't know that you have to go through a scuttle access to get to the other side of the roof, and then there's like 2 or 3 more package units over there that the filters never get changed on, like, yet they can't go downstairs and count the thermostats and say I only put filters in a couple units. I mean, you know, whatever. I guess I'm going off on a tangent attacking the filter changing company, but sometimes it happens, okay? With that being said, when this happens, when they have no routine maintenance or they're using filter changing companies that are not service technicians to do limited stuff, you tend to find issues that just explode on you. Okay, so they called me and they said, I have 3 air conditioners not working, right? What are the odds that 3 units are down? Unless it's an electrical issue, that's not very common. But in this case, since they don't do maintenance, it was loose belts, multiple condenser fan motors, refrigerant leaks, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, it's just, it compounds. And then what you have to do when you go into these situations, the way that I approach it is you go in a triage situation, okay? They have 3 air conditioners down, okay? What's the priority? Well, right now they're complaining that the dining room's too hot. So we're going to focus on the dining room, then we'll make it to the bar, then we'll make it to the kitchen, okay? And that's the way that we approach it. And I know people in the comments, in the last video, people in the comments were like, you should have done the kitchen first because that's the kitchen staff. Hey, I can only do what management wants me to do. And management wants me to get the dining room and the bar running first. I know that, okay? I know the protocol of these restaurants. They're more concerned with customers than they are kitchen staff, okay? I can't go in there and just attack the kitchen AC because they're telling me to do something different. I work for the customer. The customer's telling me what to do. I'm going that route, okay? I know the way that they want to approach these. So I always attack dining room and bar first, then I'll get to the kitchen. But you have to triage them and you have to just kind of look at everything and be able to take a big picture approach. It's really easy just to go in there and say, smoke detector, boom, problem solved, all good. Well, okay. But then I found in the previous video that it wasn't just a smoke detector. you know, that they actually had another smoke detector, which there's nothing wrong with having two. And that's something that in my previous video, a lot of people were asking about in the comments. Yes, that particular unit being a 15-ton technically did require return and supply duct smoke detector, okay? Depending on the municipality and the area that you're in, sometimes they enforce it, sometimes they don't. But mechanical code, I believe, does say for a 15-ton, you're supposed to have return and supply duct detectors, okay? So you just have to start carefully unpacking everything and building a list. So I started building a list for the bar AC, got a few things, got it operational, you know, disconnected that second duct detector. And also in the comments, again, going back to the first video, a lot of people are asking, well, why were they running 208 volts through that thermostat wire? Was it actually 208 because they were only breaking one leg? Well, it probably was 208, but I don't know for sure. And the reason why, because they had two pairs of wires, right? And each one was breaking a high voltage side of the 208 volt transformer. Depending on how that unit was set up, I don't know, I didn't look into it. It's possible that they were running 208 through that thermostat wire, because if they were pulling power off of different phases for each transformer, well, then it's a possibility that one leg of one transformer might be phase A and one leg of the other transformer might be phase B. So then therefore you might actually have 208 volts running through that jacketed thermostat wire. Now, a lot of people too, and I'm addressing some of the comments from the first video in this and then I'll get to the rest. But some people said, well, just because it's an 18 gauge wire doesn't mean that that's wrong. Well, yeah, it does. Okay. I realize that if you have an 18 gauge conductor that has insulation on it and it's rated for 208 volts, yes, you can use an 18 gauge conductor. This was routine, normal, run-of-the-mill thermostat wire. Okay, the insulation on that thermostat wire is not rated for 208 volts. That insulation is very fragile, and that was a very dangerous situation. A good majority of people, and this is why you have to always check voltage, a good majority of people assume that just because you have a thermostat wire that there's going to be 24 volts and it's safe to work on it hot. And 99.9% of the time, that's true. In this situation, though, no. So what happens if a fire alarm technician had gotten up into that duct detector and assumed that it was 24 volts and stuck his fingers in there and he could have gotten electrocuted, right? So that's enough about the first video, okay? So let's go on to this video. So I didn't come back out. It was actually the same day, and it was a long day. But I continued on to the second unit, found that the second unit was out of gas on the first stage, low on gas on the second stage, two bad condenser fan motors, a loose belt, and a dirty condenser. So we cleaned it up as best as possible. As much as I said I was going to come back, I ended up finding the leak on the first stage. That has not been fixed yet, by the way, either. And this was all done back in like August or something like that of 2022. So this was done last summer. It has not been fixed yet. So we got the second stage running. We put gas in it. We changed those two condenser fan motors, and that AC, they made it through the rest of the cooling season. Then on to the smaller unit, which was for the kitchen. And that one, I believe, either has a bad circuit board or a bad battery for the display or something, because it's not holding its program. Every time you turn the unit off, then turn it back on, it's like it doesn't lose the memory completely, but it makes you go through the setup steps as if the unit was just being set up for the first time. But it still runs and cools and everything like it's supposed to be. So again, last summer, I got it back up and running, cleaned the unit up, and got it cooling, but the customer didn't approve anything else other than what I did that day. So guaranteed, we will be back out there when the cooling season comes again. Here we are, March 22nd of 2023, and we will be out there within the next couple months probably to get that unit back, you know, to dig into everything else. Now, one thing I will say was this particular customer usually orders their own equipment. And when I did tell them that the big unit needed, I actually condemned the condenser coil instead of just fixing it. I said, you know what, it's in your best interest just to go ahead and change the entire condenser coil. Here's a price, but here's the problem. I got a price on the condenser coil, but you couldn't get them. They were like, because of back orders and all that stuff, they were way in on back order. And the customer was like, well, just replace the condenser, you know. And I was like, guys, we can't get it. So I went ahead and closed that work order out because I didn't want to go ahead and order a condenser and then have them wait to pay my invoices and stuff. So I just closed it out and said, you guys need to replace this unit. It's an old R22 unit. And then they were like, well, we can't get equipment. And I was like, by the time I was getting done, I was like, guys, it's up and running. Like, just order it. 6 months from now, you'll have a new unit, put it in. I guarantee they didn't order a new unit, okay? Because I haven't heard a single thing about it. So again, we will be back out there to go through all that equipment. I did address something else too. You know, it was 105 degrees when I was up there on the roof. And like I said, I was there from like 7 a.m. to like 2 or 3 p.m. And, you know, I wasn't trying to be a baby saying, oh my gosh, I can't handle 105. Because if you guys have watched any of my videos, you know I work in much warmer than 105 degrees. But every day is different, and the human body is different depending on humidity and all that different stuff and your exhaustion level and everything. You know your body. I know my body. I know when it's time to stop. And you guys need to follow through with that when it's time for you to stop too. Okay, don't ever let anybody pressure you to keep pushing through it. If you are exhausted, if you are getting overheated, it's time to stop and take a break. Okay, now I'm running a business. I have employees, right? I need to make money. On my business, we have to be working to be able to make money. But I also recognize that it's not worth someone's life. And, you know, that may sound extreme, but it's not. Heat stroke and heat exhaustion is no joke, and people can and have died from that, okay? You can have a heat stroke, and a heat stroke doesn't sound like a big deal, but it can be. For a certain person, heat stroke can literally be a stroke, and it can be devastating. It can end your life. It can ruin your life. Take care of your body. The biggest piece of advice I can say as we're coming into the cooling season is hydrate, okay? Hydrate. Stop drinking sodas. Stop eating junk food, and hydrate. All right, drink good old water. Now, in this video, I said I drank like 6 or 8 waters and like 2 Gatorades, okay? Now, me personally, I know my body. I need to drink regular water, but at the same time, I do add in a Gatorade or 2, but don't spend your entire day drinking Gatorade. Don't believe the hype of what the Gatorade manufacturers tell you that it's healthy to be drinking Gatorade all day long. It's not. It's sugar and salt is all that it is. Now, on some aspects, a little bit of salt might help you when you need to hydrate yourself, but plain old water is your best friend when it comes to hydrating yourself majority of the time. Okay, so electrolytes and different things are important, but you need to make sure you're drinking water. Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, none of that crap is any good for you. And I'm not going to stand on a high horse and say that I don't drink Pepsi and I don't eat junk food. I'm the worst at it. I drink soda every once in a while. I don't drink it as much as I used to, but I know, again, as I'm getting older, how much my body has been damaged because I didn't take care of it. So I can't stress enough to everybody out there. When you're feeling exhausted, when you're feeling the symptoms of heat stroke, it's too late. So don't let yourself get to that point. I can't stress that enough, okay? This has been my public service announcement. All right. So back to the beginning of the video, you know, I just had to triage the equipment, figured out what I was going to fix. I went in, I got everything operational. One of my technicians that was on site told me he wasn't feeling good. He wanted to go home. I said, no problem, bro. Do your thing. It put me in a bind, but still, it's not worth him getting sick. It's not worth his life. He came back to work the next day, but, you know, had he been working longer, maybe he would have gotten sick. You know, who knows? Okay, so remember, take care of yourself first. Work comes second. Okay, 100%, and that comes from a business owner. Your body comes first, your job comes second. Because if you don't take care of your body, you're not going to be there to come back to the job the second day or the next day. Okay? I really appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video now that I've been rambling forever. Thank you so much for taking the time to finish this. If you haven't already, please check out my website, hvacrvideos.com. It's a great way to help support the channel. We've got hats and other merchandise available on the website, stickers, beanies, shirts, sweaters, all that different stuff. A couple other ways you can help support the channel if you're interested in doing so. The easiest way is simply watch the videos from beginning to end. There's going to be some links in the show notes for my Patreon, my PayPal, YouTube channel memberships links if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Also, if you're interested in purchasing any tools, check out TrueTechTools.com. I have an affiliate link with them, or affiliate code. If you use my code, big picture, one word, you'll get an 8% discount on majority of the items on their website. Not everything, but a good majority of the items they sell, that discount applies to. And when you use that offer code, you get the discount, and then I get a small commission from that too. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and then it helps support the channel on the back end too. Okay, I really do appreciate you. And get ready because the cooling season is coming. I know we're just at the tail end of winter right now. It's like just the beginning of spring, but it's still cold and, you know, we're still getting snow and stuff. But stay tuned because it's going to come with a vengeance. Usually after these big winters, we get a hot summer. So stay ready, get ready, stay hydrated, all that good stuff. I really appreciate you, and we will catch you on the next one, okay?